Hello, everybody. Such a great pleasure to run this webinar today. My name is Martin Peniak. I'm a head of innovation. We have also our director of research here, Dr. Eduard Vasquez. Today, we are going to talk about our latest efforts in the field of edge computing designed to improve health and safety at workplaces. I hope you will find our material interesting and informative. If you have any questions, please send any of your questions to info@cortexica.com. I'll let Eduardo start. He will start through taking you through the company history and some of our latest projects. Some of these projects are really exciting. You will see now we started doing some work also for satellites, action recognition. You will see, like we started doing lots of cool stuff. So then I'll continue and I'll tell you about our latest product that we've done in partnership with AION and App. This is it's been designed basically to enable developers to try our PPE detection. PPE stands for personal protective equipment, the stuff builders need to wear at work. Pharmaceutical companies, they are losing a lot of money if anybody is not wearing the right type of PPE, for example, contamination and so on, but we'll get into it. And then I will also give you some of the examples of how this technology can be applied. We've been doing this stuff for the last 2 to 3 years, so our capability in this field has improved significantly. We also continuing improving the data sets and everything, so our models are continuously better and better at detecting this equipment. And so I'll show you some of the examples and also show you the importance of, for example, combination of being able to detect when employees are entering to premises, being able to detect that they're wearing the right type of PPE, and then also being able to continuously detect during their work hours that they're wearing the type of PPE. Because it's not only important to enter the premises with the right type of PPE, but also make sure that they constantly wear this sort of equipment. So I'll let Eduardo start to tell you a little bit more about Cortexica and what we do.
Thank you, Martin. Hi, everyone. So yeah, I'm Eduardo Vasquez, Director of Research at Cortexica. The company started to span out from Imperial College almost 10 years ago now as a result of the efforts of the founders of the company to reverse engineering the visual cortex, what we knew about human perception, mostly on V1. Then after this, we've been in many different products and met with many different clients. I guess what matters here is where we are right now, rather than explaining a long story here. We are, well, we speak, around 35 R&D scientists, including 15 PhD students. The company is strongly focused on research and development, and also for the last couple of 3 years on partnerships, both industrial and academic. For we have found that in truth you can't cover everything, but rather you can be quite good at a couple of things. So we've been always very focused. It's been very important for us from the beginning to develop our own tech, do our own research, and hence we've got some patented technology, but also very importantly, we work with a lot of universities in such way that we are not a company, yet another deep learning company working with off-the-shelf stuff, but we actually produce cutting-edge research. An example of that is that this very same year, we've won the BT Awards on the retail vertical as the best tech AI company working in this vertical in UK. And also we've been chosen as Gartner Cool Vendors for the capabilities of our technology and our flexibility as well when it comes to deliver solutions. This is an example. Martin is going to touch, and I myself, some other partnerships from the industrial perspective, from the industry perspective. But this just shows us a quick picture of the universities we've been working with and publishing with the last 12 months to give you an idea of how we actually do proper research, not just off-the-shelf stuff. Martin, next. So The main things we offer, probably from a technical perspective, are object recognition. We can recognize any object in an image, whether it's a car, a table, a bottle of wine, as we used to do in our old days. But we also, on top of object recognition, we work more of what we call image analysis. That is also about the mood of the image, you know, about design elements, about perception, rather than just the specific objects with a semantical meaning. Combining object recognition and all these perceptual elements to an image level, we can work, or we can offer rather, on visual search, as we've been offering for quite a lot of years now. And for the last 3 years, probably, we've been focusing more and more and more and more on video analysis, of which Martin is going to give us, his 2 pence on that one. So next. So the main verticals we are right now into are retail and fashion. We've been in that one for the last 5 to 6 years, with names like Macy's, Zalando, John Lewis, and so on and so forth. We've moved also, using our own same capabilities, into manufacturing with pharmaceutical companies, car manufacturers, to make sure that the devices are manufactured, produced properly without defects or artifacts, and also that the machines themselves are working as expected. And finally, yet again, this is not just from a technical perspective, but from a vertical perspective, we are on real-time video analysis. Next. So from image perspective, our aim, it's been always for some long time, to remove search barriers. You can combine text with visual elements. You can use images to search when actually text will bring nothing else than a rather arbitrary description of an image. Oftentimes, visual elements, perceptual elements that are difficult to put in words, are the best way to perform a search. So that's been what we've been doing for some time and what we are definitely good at. Martin? Next, thank you. But lately, Martin was talking about some very cool, interesting projects we're into. This is one that is very exciting and extraordinarily complex. This, we have partnered with Hammerson. They own a lot of shopping centers, to being able to offer real-time action recognition capabilities, in this case of public spaces in shopping centers. Now, action recognition, to be able to tell that someone is running or walking, implies a lot of things. For instance, next. Given an image of CCTV camera, we can detect that one person is walking, for instance, or that another person is running, right? Now, to be able to detect that, there's a hell of a lot of actually processes that needs to happen. You need to localize that a person is in there. And again, this is on real CCTV imagery, body part detection, skeleton detection as well, on very challenging conditions of illumination and camera quality conditions. You need to track a person, be careful of false negative that happen all the time hidden there, and have a proper tracking algorithm there. You also need to be able to tell that these two people are actually not the same person in re-identification, and again, very challenging conditions. And finally, with all this, we can talk about action recognition. Now, all these we've shown here is a project that is ongoing, but any of these individual processes, we can actually run it on the edge, as Martin is going to explain. And that is the very exciting, cool thing we can offer right now. That is very, very cutting edge, challenging stuff running on the edge, as opposed to run with massive GPUs and a farm of GPUs, with all the energy consumption and all the expensive that is. So these solutions, they work on any camera. Even we're working with very old analog cameras with digital converters, very poor quality to very high, last thing, best cameras ever. We can run these projects on the cloud, on premise, and on the edge, as I've said. And then we can offer a number of video analytics and video capabilities with all this. Now, all this, we've been partnering right now on another very, very exciting project with UCL, EarthEye, and SSTL, satellite manufacturer, in this application where basically we can offer real-time video analysis capabilities anywhere in the world. That is planned to happen in the next year and a half. What we're doing with these guys here is to be able to track, to classify, to run, again, very complex deep learning models and machine learning models on the device, on the satellite. What we're able to offer is very low power consumption algorithms on the satellite that is just the only energy comes from the solar panels. And yet we're able to process high quality, high definition video on real time. So that the only thing you need to downlink to the Earth are the areas of interest. And that is the only way that you can offer real-time video capabilities anywhere in the world. So another thing, and I'm gonna hand this to Martin here, we partnered some time ago with Cisco to offer what was called with them AI Safe, about personal protective equipment. Thank you, Martin, off to you.
Thank you, Eduardo. Great stuff. Hi, guys, again. So yeah, before I start, I'll just take this opportunity to give a quick background into what I was doing previously. My background is in GPU computing. I've done some work with cognitive robotics. I work for NVIDIA in Santa Clara Research and also with the European Space Agency. Before this, though, I came to I came to England from Slovakia, and I started from zero, basically, without money, without English. And what you see on the right side is my TED Talk in Bratislava, where I basically tell people that anybody can do anything if we, work hard and are persevere and fight for our dreams. So if this sounds good to you, and yeah, you like this sort of topics, I also cover some of the research I was doing. Of course, it's not just about how I came to UK. There is a lot of stuff about GPU and cognitive robotics, as my thesis was probably the first kind of application of GPU into cognitive robotics. So check out the talk, My Dream About AI. And by this, I'm gonna start the talk about our latest stuff that we've been doing. So why are we doing this? What is the PP? What are the challenges here? Obviously, we want to make sure that our employees are wearing the right type of PP, because if you don't wear the right type of PP, you not only risking losing, your life or health, but also we just become less efficient. We contaminate stuff. It causes a lot of troubles, causes finances later on down the line. Here you can see 14.9 billion per year is lost due to work-related injuries, and 30.2 million days lost due to accidents or ill health. So even if 1% of this could be prevented, if there was some system that could find out if the employees are missing the PPE, or even don't let them go through a gate if they don't wear the correct PPE, well, then this sort of numbers would go down. So if we can do 10% of this, the impact would be amazing. So this is what we are trying to do right now. Like I already said, we've been doing this for around 2 to 3 years, sorry. And today the focus is on our latest product, which is it's a solution done in collaboration with AAEON and App, and it will allow any developer to use it and integrate it for their own purposes in their own applications, evaluate our technology, and then once they finish the evaluation or a proof of concept, we can work directly with them and tailor our solution for their specific needs. So before I start talking about this specific product here, let me just show you some of the examples so you get a better idea of how this technology can be applied. So now I'm going to show you a few videos that just demonstrate the potential of this technology. So in this first video, you see, a person walking towards the security door. This is all running on the edge. There is no cloud, nothing. The system uses the camera integrated in the doorbell. It checks if there is any person standing. It checks if a person is wearing the right type of protective equipment. Well, in this particular case, it is the helmet and it is a high visibility bucket. So Now it told me that I'm not wearing everything that I need to. I put on my jacket. The system verifies that I wear everything I need to wear, and only then opens the door. So just by doing this, we can already reinforce the good behaviors of employees to make sure that they are wearing the type of PPE. And it's a good start. But like I said, we cannot just assume that this will solve all the problems, because somebody, of course, can just drop the helmet and continue working, as it often happens. And so in this particular video, you see a solution which is using a radar in combination with the pan-tilt zoom camera, which is only needs one camera, radar give a position of target location, where to look, and the camera checks if a person is wearing a PPE, and if it doesn't, then it triggers an alarm or something. So you can have just one camera, and it will be able to scan vast areas. So it's just one application, but like Eduardo said, we can integrate with the existing cameras that you might have in your premises. It doesn't really matter, but we are very agile, coming up with new flexible solutions. So anything is possible already. Here you can see some of the raw footage. So what you see, just a video passed through our deep belief networks that have been trying to recognize helmets and high visibility jackets. This is outdoor footage of the same sort of stuff, just showing how well it's able to detect PPE. Of course, it's never 100%, but as you can see, it works fairly well. And we are continuously extending our data set, improving the models, so things are just going to get better and better. And so this is just like one example, the helmets and the high visibility jackets, because this is applicable to many, in many companies, whether you are a builder or you are somewhere doing something with oil and gas. It's fairly kind of generic equipment to wear. We've done some more complex PPE detection designed for Ingress, which means an employee can only enter the workplace if the system verifies he or she is wearing everything. And in this case, it was some of the work we've done for one pharmaceutical company. The system was trying to detect a lot more complex stuff. This picture just shows illustration of what we were doing, but I can tell you we were detecting, shoe covers, overalls, gloves, transparent glasses, for example, so which is very difficult to detect. Hair nets, bear nets. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. And like if somebody doesn't wear a glove, let's say, and this causes contamination, which it often does, then all the products that if you find somebody like didn't wear a glove for last 1 hour, let's say, we need to roll all the products back. So companies are losing millions and millions of pounds or euros or whatever. And if there was a system that would continuously scan if everybody's wearing the PPE, then this would be minimized. The Ingress is already a great start. It kind of demonstrates the importance of wearing everything correctly, and in conjunction with the continuous monitoring to make sure that employees continuously wear the right type of PPE. I think this can really change the way we see health and safety in workplaces. So what do we have here? Now I'm going to tell you a little bit about our latest product, which you can buy if you want to experiment with it at App Shop. Here you have a link. I think it costs around $699 or so, but what you're really getting is a piece of excellent hardware that you can use to evaluate not just only our technology. You can run a lot of stuff on this hardware, so it's not just specific to this particular demo. The hardware is really good as well, and I'll take you through it. So what you're gonna get is going to be this sort of computer, which you can extend with the Wi-Fi or Bluetooth. but more importantly, also it comes with a HD camera. It's a just decent camera. More importantly, it comes with the latest, module, which is on a mini PCIe slot, plugs into this, board, and it has a single Myriad X chip. So Myriad X is much better than the previous version of, of the Myriad 2. If you remember, some of you might have tried the USB neural compute stick and so on. Well, this used to have the Myriad 2. And since I'll show you in a bit, we were the first and the only company at the International World Congress in Barcelona, IoT Solution World Congress, only company who had a working demo on this chip, because the chip is just so new. There is not even OpenVINO version that can support it just yet. So we had the demo running, and I was able to evaluate the performance, and I'm well impressed. Not only because of the performance, also because of the the kind of low power requirements of the chip. So it really opens up new possibilities for edge applications. You see, I mean, we could do another presentation of why edge applications are going to be so important, but that could be another topic. Here it says like 10 times performance compared to previous generation. Yes, maybe in some cases can be 10 times. I observe around 5 to 6 times, but it again, it depends on what you're running and what you're doing. So in this specific kit, this chip enables running RPP model at very high frame rate, for what it is. The single inference time is around 25 milliseconds on this chip. So that will be around 40 frames per second, I believe. So that is pretty fast, but
Artificial intelligence.
I'll tell you more
it's
about
all
it
around
later.
us,
Check this video
shaping
out.
the future,
About,
like many small seeds scattered everywhere. Meet up AI Core X, the high-density deep learning vision accelerators family to enable artificial intelligence on the edge. By observation, it identifies. By identifying, it acknowledges. And by acknowledging, it understands, adapts, and reacts. AI Core X is a revolutionary neural network accelerator which analyzes and executes right on the edge. It expands possibilities for edge devices. It's faster, more energy efficient, and more secure. Discover your customer's behavior to enable an intelligent shopping experience. Use artificial intelligence to control the traffic more efficiently. Use AI Core X to increase the safety in industrial working environments. A smarter and easier life experience is not so far into the future anymore. Join us and embrace the future with AI Core X.
Right. Okay. Let me just move on. So yeah, check this out. So this was we had 2 demos at the IoT Solutions World Congress in Barcelona. It was amazing. We had one at the Intel booth, another at the AAEon booth. I already said we were the only company who had this system running on the Myriad X, so we got huge amounts of attention. We got featured also by the Intel keynote. Yeah, it was just a fantastic experience. So I'll go in a bit into a bit more technical details of what the what this dev kit is doing, how it's working, and all that. But before that, let me just show you quickly a just very basic application of what we were running at this conference. Here you can just see running a couple of models in parallel, one for face detection, one for PP detection, maybe around 20 frames per second, since one model runs basically on Myriad X, the other one runs on the GPU. So the one that runs on the GPU runs slower, so the total time would be the time of the slowest inference time, which is in this case on the GPU. I will also tell you about our future plan, which will then increase the frame rate even more thanks to AAEon and App and their latest, credit card size, vision kit that has 3 Myriad X chips. Right, so if you get the kit, there will be a service running in the background. It's everything's written in a C++. There is a service binary published, which starts automatically just when you plug, when you turn on the machine. This service is basically providing a REST API. It doesn't do anything unless you send in a request. So the PP service uses OpenVINO to run the inference. It's not just the inference on a single model, it's a multi-model inference. It can run up to 4 models in parallel. Then it uses, these are just the dependencies. It uses OpenCV and it uses libpoco, which which basically facilitates communication via the REST API. Then what you get also is there will be a C++ sample, also just using libpoco, OpenCV, super minimal demo. Just shows you how you can communicate with the REST API and how you can draw the results using OpenCV and just make something meaningful out of the data that you can get from the PP service. You can also call this service from from any other code. Of course, it doesn't have to be C++, can be Python, can be Java, doesn't matter. It can be also over the network if you are on the same subnet. So this is just an example, but it allows the developers quickly see how you can communicate with the service. It's all pretty simple, to be honest. Here you have an example of the REST interface and the request and the response type of things that you can get. As you can see, there are 4 parameters at the top. You can enable, disable certain models, and you can set their thresholds. That's all you can do. You get response, which you get time, how long it took for the inference of all the models in parallel. And then you get the detection results. So in this particular case, it was 2 models enabled, face detection and PP detection. The time was 49 milliseconds, so 20 frames per second. If I only run PP detection, it would be 40 frames per second because the Myriad is much faster than the Intel GPU for the inference. Right. So here you have a simple example. This is the C++ application. Uses very basic stuff, very basic UI. You have some sliders on the top that you can use to change the thresholds. If you move it to the very left, threshold will be 0, and that kind of disables the model. So developers can also play around with different combinations of models, see what kind of speed they're getting, because one of the models is also running on the CPU. So let's say if I run all the models at the same time, it's still getting really good performance. Can be perhaps 15 frames per second running 4 models in parallel. I don't know the number exactly from the top of my head, but it's fairly fast. But usually what you need for the PP would be either PP combined with face detection or person detection, such that you know there is somebody, and then you can check if somebody is wearing something. Right. I also wrote a white paper recently. You can now download it from our website. So if you are interested to kind of find out more technical information about this, either download this or just contact us directly at info@cortexica.com, and we will be able to help you with any sort of queries you might have. Right. So yes, today we're talking about edge devices. We can run it on these AAE on board. We can run it on the cloud. We can run it on any sort of device you might like. But this particular device is the latest demo that we created for the AAE on hardware, which is called Boxer 8120 AI. And the interesting stuff about this kit is that it's got the NVIDIA TX2 system on chip. So this not only allows you to run D-believe networks and all that, but if you have some CUDA applications, anything that runs on these NVIDIA cards, you can run on this tiny little chip as well, providing it has enough resources. So I've done a demo on this one. It runs really fast, and it just shows really all I wanted to show here is that we are very versatile with the hardware. So we've got models, we're constantly improving models, and our capability to develop solutions very quickly for any type of hardware is really good, I would say. I haven't even started talking about on what other devices we have managed to run our models, archaic devices, but devices that are deployed worldwide. So, we cannot expect everybody now gets a Boxer or gets a, NVIDIA card somewhere here and there, but we really able to use the existing infrastructure, even if it has one atom, processor with which is not even supported with OpenVINO. We can run stuff on it. So what I'm excited about personally is now the kind of next step. I'm waiting now for app to release this new board. And so what this is going to change is that instead of using one myriad-X, we can use 3 myriad-X. And that is great because there will no longer be this bottleneck of the CPU or GPU taking longer time. So I'll be able to run all 3 models at 25, 25 millisecond per frame speed, 40 frames per second, which is great. So these will be our next steps, and I'm really looking forward to trying this out. With this, I have to conclude. It was such a great pleasure to run this webinar. I hope you enjoy some of it. Like I said, if you have any question, please write us on info@cortexica.com. Thank you very much.
Thank you, everyone.